Okay. Okay, so I'm live. Oh, nice color here. Oops. Okay. Yeah, gotta dig the color there. That looks pretty good. Yeah, RealPolitik Radio. Broadcasting live here, Saturday, March 26th, 2022. And I've been absent. I'm sorry about that. I haven't been completely on top of this. So I do multiple things. Like I mentioned, I tend to vacillate, so between things. So great weather we're having here. The city that I'm in. Oh, it's just splendid. And the ocean nearby and everything. Yeah, sorry about my absence here. I'm working on some musical projects and stuff. It's time to talk about the Dems again. Okay, it's time to talk about the Dems. Because where I tend to reside, the Dems govern as a majority. And as everyone knows, it's a Democratic President Biden and Democratic Congress as well. On top of that, sorry, I'm a little bit rough here. A little bit haggard today. With the Dems as my scapegoat, though, how can I go wrong? So anyway, this is what the Dems are like. You're waiting for the punchline here. What I was going to say. The Dems, they know to love one another and care about others, but they think the government should do everything. I know I'm repeating what previous broadcasters have said in the past, who are Republican or whatever, but the Dems think it's the government's responsibility to clean up everything, basically, and provide for others, and that's the only facet doing that. They don't realize, perhaps, and it's their blind spot in particular, the fact that to care is not to control. This is what a Dem is like. They think everyone should be in lockstep, and they think that everyone should be perfectly on task. Like, for example, if you're a homeless person, the average Dem thinks that that person should only go to a shelter. They should only be perfectly on task. They should only go and find work, and be perfectly in lockstep with what everyone says. And inherent in that is the taint of Marxism, the Marxist idea of the proletariat, where they must now adopt the customs, rules, culture of the proletariat working class, because the Dems have no sense of social mobility. So once a Dem group perceives you as being part of a certain class, you can never escape that class in the Dems' sight. That's what the Dems are like. So, and that's not to say that Dems are wholly un-American. Dems can be patriotic as well. But here, it's strange to me. Like, I was just reading here. Right here what the Supreme Court nominee. That I guess Biden nominated, Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson, and they've been doing the senatorial Supreme Court confirmation hearings. And so I'm reading here the Daily Skim, this little report. Says for hours, Jackson was asked about everything from race and baby books to how faithful she is, on a scale of 1 to 10. Some senators insinuated that the federal judge is lenient on child sex offenders, and that's underlined right there. This after Republicans on the committee said there'd be no spectacle or political circus from their side of the aisle. Senator Ben Sasse, I don't know what that is, Republican, noted people's jackassery comes to light when the cameras are rolling. And that, to end the quote there, that's what the Dems are like. They think you can't talk, basically, or they believe that you silenced yourself somehow. You can't speak out against child sex offenders or something. So the Dems always try to curtail your freedom of speech, even when it's infuriating. I'm just saying that. So if you want to see what the article is, here's the Daily Skim. And the Dems, they're not consistently Hitlerian in their notions, so that they're not consistent because they hold the Hitlerian notions and they're not consistently Hitlerian. Because, and I'll explain to you right now. I'll explain to you right now why, so you understand what I'm saying. By and large, I tend to think that powers by majority rule, per se, and strength in numbers, and strength in great, great, great numbers. And they think strength in great numbers means that a group is right if they have a great number of people behind their ideas. And that's the way the Dems think, is power and rule and governing by majority or by huge numbers of people behind the same ideas. It's just power by strength in numbers, etc. However, when it comes to issues like lesbian, gay, transgender movement, they're not consistently Hitlerian in their notions because that group is by and large a very small percentage. I was just reading this. It's a report by the Williams Institute, UCLA School of Law. They did a study on the number of lesbian, gays, and transgenders. So just to go over this quickly, I have a nice little table here. Figure 5, percent of number of adults who identify as LGBT in the US. Okay, that's the United States. So from overall population of the US, for women is 3.4%, for men is 3.6%, as transgender it's 0.3. When they have the actual numbers, so women 4 million some, men 4 million some, transgender is roughly approaching 700,000 total. Okay, I have a larger statistic here. They have key findings here too. So they broke it down to it being 3.5% of adults in the US identify as LGB. Okay, so that's not including transgender, and only 0.3 identify as transgender. So that's a small minority group. And so you see, that's where the Dems are not consistently Hitlerian in their notions. They'll get behind an idea if all the rest of them are behind the idea, or if it's something that provokes their bleeding heart, etc. That movement doesn't have the strength in numbers as perceived as having. The number of people who actually are, it's like at 3%, according to UCLA. So I've always understood that as being 10%. And indeed, in San Francisco, it's understood as being like 15% of the population there. But that's not accurate as to the US as a whole, you see. So what else I got here? Look at this. Like, this is another one. CNN's, I have an article here from the Daily Caller. I'll allow updates from them. Yeah, sure. Oh, now I have to go through a huge like dialogue box. Okay, allow updates from the Daily Caller. Sure. CNN's Brianna Kalar calls Biden's border crisis staggering. This during the Biden administration. And I harm gently. To quote, CNN host Brianna Kalar calls the current border crisis staggering as Border Patrol prepares for record-breaking influx of migrants entering the U.S.-Mexico border in upcoming weeks. Quote, U.S. officials are scrambling to prepare for record-breaking surge of migrants attempting to cross the U.S.-Mexico border this spring. In a CNN exclusive interview, the chief of Border Patrol says he's bracing for staggering 8,000 apprehensions a day. That's a huge number, okay? So to go into here into Trump era policy, Title 42. We're skipping to the end. Alvarez said Border Patrol is already at overcapacity after apprehending approximately 16,000 migrants this week. Migrant apprehension numbers have nearly doubled since President Biden assumed office January 2021. Related article, it is a humanitarian crisis. CNN's John Avlon says Biden can't afford to ignore border problem. So border crossings on the rise here, I feel like. Stopping here soon. Is it being not funny? Yes, so the Dems have to seem humanitarian, but he can't ignore, per se, the border crisis. So we have here the president on the horns of a dilemma. How is he going to seem humanitarian at the same time not address this crisis properly? He has them at overcapacity, basically. So, I mean, to think pragmatically here, they can't just it can't just be that way, but it can't be completely closed off either. So, okay, well, I've been on for 10 minutes here. Okay. Oh, going on 11 minutes. Great, sure. Okay, I'll be back, I'm sure. All the more thoughts on that. Interesting. All right, man. Over and out here.